This is the Let's Go Win podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to Let's Go Win. We have a Tuesday tune-up with my lovely co-host,
Lisa Ryerson.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. As you guys can see, we're messing around with some new cameras. I guess we got one here. I'm kind of looking at you here. We probably have to have another camera. No, just kidding. Please, no. So today I'm excited about what we're going to talk about, and that is vulnerability.
Huh.
When I say vulnerability, what does that mean to you straight out of the gate?
Just being open, right? Being open to possibilities, being open to people, just being you, being your authentic self, ultimately.
Now, is that something that's come naturally for you?
Absolutely. No. No, definitely vulnerability was not something that I grew up with at all. It was always, everything had to be super guarded. You had to keep your emotions inside. Everything was perfect on the outside, even though things were not so great on the inside.
Yeah, it wasn't natural for me either. It was, in fact, I was kind of taught not to be vulnerable in the way I grew up. And that's obviously one of the most profound lessons I have personally learned is the power of being vulnerable, what it does for you, what it does for your team, the people that you lead. It's probably the most, again, profound lesson I've learned in my professional career for certain. So for those of you that it doesn't come naturally to, I decided to come up with an acronym. Shocker, I like acronyms, but I think it helps us learn things easier. And it's called S.E.A. So S-E.A, like the C, to be vulnerable. So, and the S stands for saying how you feel. So often, people aren't willing to just say, this is how I'm really feeling, because that's a scary idea. So the first thing I want to just put out there is S stands for say how you feel. So do you do that yourself? Do you put it out, whether it's writing? Do you just, I know you vocalize it to me sometimes, but what are your thoughts when it just literally saying exactly how you feel, not sugarcoating it, not putting a spin on it?
Yeah, I don't think I sugarcoat anything. If anybody knows me, I'm definitely blunt. And I've hurt people's feelings, right? Because I am so overly blunt and saying how I feel. So that part, I think I did learn that, from my mom. She's ridiculously blunt to a fault, and I'm kind of the same way, but I've had to learn to do the other way. Like, not sugarcoat it, but really be careful with the words that were coming out of my mouth, because it was hurting people's feelings.
Sure. So that's a different show, if you will, on tact perhaps, or I don't know, just the presentation in general. I definitely understand that. But you do the idea that those are your feelings, and everyone should hear this. You are validated with your feelings. No one can tell you your feelings are right or wrong, because they're yours and you get to own them. How you portray them, that may be a different subject. But do you do a certain practice? Do you write things out? When it comes to your true feelings, how do you get them out of your head?
So if I'm going through a challenging time, it would definitely be journaling. So I will write out my feelings. I actually write out so this happened yesterday, right? As you So a lot of times if I'm frustrated with you, I will write it all out via text message. I would say half the time they don't get sent to you, but the other half of the time, it's like send button, it's coming to you. I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm feeling.
She sent that one.
Yesterday, There was like 6 of them.
I didn't send anything back. Fellas, sometimes you want to say something back. That ego saying, hey, you know what? I just let this one ride. And I think it was the right call.
Smart move on your part, for sure.
I mean, that's one thing, managing some of these minefields. Mm-hmm. It's something I'm not always the best at, but yesterday I thought I did a pretty good job on that one. So the second one of the acronym is E, and that's just literally embracing who you are. Accepting exactly who you are, the beauty that you are, the faults, the amazing things that you are. I think so often people want to look and sound or a different way, when the truth is the real them is the most beautiful thing. So can you talk about that just for your own, how that's your journey in embracing exactly who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've talked about this before where, when we're in our 20s, I felt like I had to act a certain way, speak a certain way, dress a certain way. I mean, it was a very outwardly appearance, or how, just so people would like me, right? Or to be accepted in certain groups. And then my 30s, I remember kind of turning a corner and saying, well, that's not really me. And it was kind of a navigation system, right? Through my 30s, like, who am I? What's my purpose, here on earth? What are my true passions? I mean, there was a lot of growing in my 30s. And then by the time I hit 40, it was kind of that I don't give a flying F, right? What other people think. Now, are there times where I'm like, yeah, I probably should dress up for this event, or should look a certain way? I mean, that's different, but I truly have embraced who I am. And it's kind of the attitude of, well, yeah, if you don't like me, cool. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. But if you like me, awesome. Right? We're going to be great friends. Like, if you take the time to know me, right? So it's just finding your people that are in alignment with you and being super comfortable. Because, I mean, for example, the friends that we have found here in, Boca since we've moved here, they're amazing. And they love us for who we are. And we're in alignment with them. And it's like, we're these long lost friends that, we've known each other our entire lives, but we found them here and we've only known for a few months. But they're very close to us.
Yeah, and I think what I'm hearing is it makes it so much easier when you really, again, embrace who you are, when you accept this is exactly who I am, this is what I'm looking for, these are the values in other people. When you get really clear on that, and I think that's what's happened, is we were very intentional about exactly the attributes, the people, and you attract those people to you. Mm-hmm. And there is a law of attraction there where you're not clear on that, you may not attract the people that you really want into your life, into your atmosphere. So I think that's definitely has happened. And so, yeah, that's a process. And one of the things I think people, especially if you're looking for love, let's say, until you truly love yourself, it would be really challenging for someone else to love you. And I know that sounds mushy and gushy, but it's true. Like, when you love yourself, that's going to allow somebody else to really embrace and love you. When you struggle with that, they're going to struggle too, because how can you if they don't love the same person?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally believe in that, because I personally went through that, right? Like, I personally had to figure out who I was. And I mean, you've loved me through and through, but not saying marriage is easy, right? We've gone through our tough patches over the years. And I really feel that once I found who I was, and really embrace that, then you were like, okay, cool. Like, that's great. I can love you fully.
No, it's true. The faults, the strengths, all of it, because when they accept it, it just makes it easier. It's an easier path for both. And the last one on A, and this is a funny one, especially coming from a guy who, there used to be where you drive and guys wouldn't ask for directions. You remember that whole idea? Right. And maybe it still exists, but with GPS, it's kind of easier. But I remember driving around aimlessly there with people where they wouldn't ask for directions. It's like, that's ridiculous. So the A stands for ask for help. Now, if you simply ask somebody for help and you say, look, I'm hurting, that allows them to be that hero in this journey, to really see you and be productive in your life, be somebody that's really bringing value to your life. But if you don't ask for help, people don't know. And I think that's a big lesson for all of us, is we think people should know just somehow through ESP, I know what you're feeling or thinking. Let me clue everybody in. We don't hardly know our own self what we're feeling, so how can someone else? So asking for help. And I know this is something that you have a group of girlfriends, you have Heather that you work with, and that's kind of your process. But when I say ask for help, because that wouldn't necessarily be, again, culturally for you, that's not a popular trending thing in certainly the Chinese culture.
Right. Yeah, and I'm really, I ask for help for everything. I really do. Like, so for example, instead, like if you went to a restaurant or let's say Home Depot, I'm the first to be like, where do I need to go to find the nail, right? Or this specific light bulb. If I'm in a restaurant, where exactly is your bathroom? Because guess what? I don't want to sit there and walk around aimlessly for no reason. That's just a waste of time.
It certainly is a waste of time. You get to the place faster, and again, you find exactly what you're looking for. So the whole idea here, guys, is I want people to take this idea with being vulnerable and give it your best shot. Put yourself out there. So try the acronym C. That is literally say how you feel. E is embrace who you are, and A is ask for help. If you do those three things, I think you're going to find that whether it's love, relationships, business, when you show up fully vulnerable to the world, that word is so challenging for me.
The add on vulnerability, that's another tongue twister.
I know, you throw a little extra ITY in there, but no, when you are clearly vulnerable, like I'm being right now, trying to say the word, it allows people to really see who you are, embrace who you are, and it just makes life easier. So I don't know if you had any parting comments on it as well, but it's been a huge idea for me. My leadership path, it's just one of those subjects that I'm passionate about. And one of the people that, if you want to check it out, Brene Brown does an incredible job talking about this subject. She's the foremost leading expert on this. And you actually really enjoyed her Netflix special, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's amazing. I highly recommend her as well.
So, if anybody wants to share, be vulnerable, I'd love to hear it. Where would they do that?
So, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. I mean, gosh, we're on every social media platform now. Let's Go Win 365, or you can always email us at info@letsgowin.com.
Yeah,
We'd love to hear from you.
I'm so sorry. That's exactly right. I would love to hear how people show up in this world, if they have their own process for being vulnerable, because this is the acronym I came up with, but I would love to hear others' ideas. So until next time, you guys, continue transcending life.
Thank you so much for listening. If this content is delivering value to you, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review us. That helps us build this community, and that is what we are all about. Building this community as big as we can, helping as many people as we can, and deliver as much value as possible. Be sure to head over to letsgowinpodcast.com for information on my coaching courses, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Let's Go Win 365. Let's go win and transcend in life.
This is the Let's Go Win podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson.